Lithography is often thought of as an extremely difficult medium. This misconception is further perpetuated by the idea that you only get one chance to correctly draw and etch an image. Often, in any medium, imagery needs to be rethought, refined, and reworked to get to the desired final product. In printmaking, this problem is compounded through the multiple drawings and layers necessary to produce complex color work. The ability to successfully add to and delete from printing elements in lithography is an essential skill. This video will cover deletions and additions on stone. Deletions can occur at almost any stage in the process and are only limited by your ability to control the material being removed and to apply a stabilizing etch afterward. On limestone, the simplest form of deletion is physical abrasion. This can occur during the drawing process or after a stone has been processed. It is important to remember that physical deletions remove both the drawing materials and any adsorbed gum while also destroying the tooth of the stone. As such, physical deletions are prone to causing dry roll and limit the ability of the artist to redraw over the deleted areas. Physical deletions are also difficult, if not impossible, to mask off for a clean, controlled deletion, particularly before an etch has been applied. Physical deletions can be achieved using snake slip, rubber hones, razor blades, sandpaper, spot graining, or by simply scratching with a sharp needle. Snake slip and hones are usually used in combination with water to help remove the material from the stone, so these tools may not be advisable when using water-based drawing materials. Use the hone to rub over the surface of the image to be removed, followed by a damp sponge to remove any excess materials. Hones can be used as a drawing tool to leave unique marks and tones behind in heavily drawn areas. Areas that have been honed tend to be completely devoid of tooth and will dry roll easily. Razor blades and needles can be used to remove materials and leave interesting marks and tones if desired. Some processes, such as manière noir, rely on the marks left by these abrasives to create the image. After scratching, dust off the removed material with a soft brush to see the effect on the image. Scratching also reduces the tooth of the stone, exacerbating dry roll. Chemical deletions on stone are best done after the stone has been etched and a gum mask applied to contain the spread of grease during the deletion process. Chemical deletions, as opposed to physical deletions, usually retain the tooth of the stone, or a very similar tooth, which allows the artist to redraw over the deleted area. Also, unlike physical deletions, these kinds of chemical deletions are usually complete deletions and are not used to create tones. You'll have the most control over a chemical deletion on an etched stone with a buffed-in gum mask. Begin by masking off any areas that you do not want to delete with clear contact paper, low adhesion painter's tape, or another suitable material, avoiding wrinkles and bubbles. The buffed-in gum and adsorbed gum will protect the non-image area from any tape residue, which would otherwise attract ink. Burnish the masking paper down tightly using a bone folder. Iron oxide can be traced on the stone or contact paper to mark areas to be deleted, if needed. Use a small craft knife to carefully cut through the masking paper, but not into the stone, removing the paper in the areas to be deleted. Burnish the edges of the cutout again to ensure they are tightly adhered to the stone. Use cotton swabs or rags lightly soaked in lithotripsine to begin removing the image. Be careful not to allow the solvent to creep under the masking paper or around the edges. You may find a blotting rather than a wiping motion to be more effective, as well as a wiping in from the edges of the exposed area instead of out towards the edges. Once the majority of the drawing material has been removed, blot with a damp sponge to remove the gum mask in the deleted area. This will allow you to remove the smaller particles of grease that are trapped under the gum. Use a strong etch to burn out the ghost in the stone. The required strength of the etch will differ according to the quality of your stone. To determine a sufficient etch, apply it to a border where there is no drawing, and the stone should begin to foam within 10 seconds. Apply this hot etch to the areas of deletion, and use your brush to scrub the stone gently as you move the etch around. You may need to remove the excess gum, and repeat this process a couple of times to remove the entire drawing. When you've completed this deletion etch, remove the excess gum and apply a weak stabilizing etch with a pH of 3.0 for 1 to 2 minutes to re-establish the adsorbed gum layer. Remove your masking paper, then buff a new gum mask over the entire stone. Chemical deletions can be done without masking paper or a buffed-in gum film, but care should be taken to protect the non-image area from the grease and solvents that are released during the process. Additions always require the removal of both the buffed-in gum arabic and the adsorbed gum layer. This is best accomplished after a stone has been rolled up in ink. Begin by ensuring that your image is fully rolled up and talced. Mix a counter-etch solution of 8 ounces of warm water to 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon of powdered citric acid. Both heat and acid will remove the adsorbed gum, but water that is too hot can soften and release ink particles, and too much acid will likewise burn out delicate imagery. Citric acid is a weak acid that will not aggressively attack the image, but is sufficient to remove the adsorb. Place your stone on a surface where you can use plenty of water as you rinse. Remove any excess buffed in gum with cold water. Make the water lukewarm and use soft paper towels or other disposable materials to massage the entire surface of the stone in a gentle, even pattern for 1 to 2 minutes. Rinse the stone completely and dispose of the paper towel. Your paper towel should remain clean. If you see any ink on the paper towel, reduce the temperature of your water and avoid scrubbing. Apply your citric acid mixture to the entire surface of the stone and use a new paper towel to massage the surface of the stone for another 1 to 2 minutes. If you see any ink on the paper towel, consider a weaker acid mixture. Rinse thoroughly once again to wash away the adsorbed gum layer that is being removed. Repeat the application of counter-etch, massaging, and rinsing of the stone for a total of 3 to 4 times, using a new paper towel each time. When you begin the counter-etching process, the surface will feel slick. As you begin to remove the adsorbed gum layer, you should feel the paper towel grab the surface more and more, indicating that the counter-etch is working as the original tooth is gradually exposed. After counter-etching, remove the excess water with a clean sponge or newsprint and quickly fan dry the stone. The stone is now open and ready to receive new drawing material. Drawings after a counter-etch should be applied slightly darker or greasier than they were applied before the counter-etch. Your old drawing will only need a 3.0 pH stabilizing etch to re-establish the adsorb, but any new drawing materials will need at least a first and second etch, as per normal etching procedures, to become established in the stone. New materials will also likely need to be etched with slightly less acid to be successful.